dead. Bro's dead. He's not... You think he escaped from this? So here's the problem. I accidentally started the Fontaine research quest because in order to start it, you have to talk to Catherine. And, you know, you always have to talk to Catherine. So I started it. Basically what happens is Catherine's just like, oh, there's a commission that came up and no one's taking it because it's been sold old and dusty and no one can actually fulfill this role. So we're just like, yeah, sure, I guess we'll take it. It's not like we're doing anything besides, you know, finding my sibling, I guess. Apparently that's not important. So then Catherine's just like, okay, go meet this dude. And then he'll tell you what to do. And then we find this dude at the Fontaine Research Institute, like the new one. And he's being attacked by guard mech dogs. And the guy's just like, help me. And then we murder them. And then we talked to the guy again, and he was just like, oh, you're here for the commission? You have to be initiated into this group. Do this. And we were just like, why are you making us do free labor? And he was just like, sucks to suck. It's capitalism. So that's what happens. So we have to go talk to this dude and get initiated. I've said this many times, Miss Clorend. I don't think that's Clorend. Miss Cronny? Like, chronic back pain? I said this many times, Miss Cronny. Building the Fontaine Research Institute is our only goal right now. You've said the same thing 3 times now. I know all too well that when you guys start repeating things like robots, there's definitely something big that you're trying to hide. Think what you like. As for the numerous issues we mentioned before, I suggest you talk to Mr. Raimondo? Mr. Raimondo. There's probably some vowels that are missing. What, so he's going to tell me all the things about the Fontaine Research Institute is hiding? No, but his way of beating around the bush might be more sincere. You... Anyway, Miss Cronny, I have my own business to attend to. The one next in line has been waiting for quite some time now. Hello, how can I help you? Are you Mr. Knacker? Yes, I am. You introduced yourself to Knacker and described the final review situation. Upon mentioning Desnos, you remember what he last told you. Before formally arriving at the Fontaine Research Institute for the final review, Mr. Desnos has first tasked me with being your guard and ensuring your safety. I see. Thank you for applying, Mr. Traveler. I suppose I must also thank Mr. Desnos' injured leg. The wilds around here do pose many dangers, and having an adventurer capable of passing the preliminary qualification review by my side would be a lot easier. I can't act like I didn't hear that. What dangers are there exactly, if I might ask? According to the investigations, a lot of Archeum flew out of the Institute when it exploded. Will the uncontrolled Archeum radiate energy? Will it contaminate the surrounding environment? Whoa! Wouldn't this entire area be contaminated then? I suddenly feel somewhat short of breath. That's just your imagination at work. After leaving its catalytic environment, Archeum immediately returns to an inert state. It won't radiate or contaminate anything. So it's not a nuclear reaction or something. It is apparent that Miss Cronny's way of phrasing her concerns brought you unnecessary misunderstandings. Mr. Traveler, may I take another look at your documents? If you really wish to escort me, then we have to take something of a detour. I'm going to a few nearby places to review the technological assets of the Institute and nab some documents along the way. Who's the lady next to you? Some reporter, that's all. Indeed, that's what I am. It's a great honor to meet you, Mr. Traveler. I've heard your name from my colleagues many times before. I'm Cronny, a journalist for the political affairs section of the Seabird. If you have the time, could we arrange a time to have a chat? And of course, Miss Paimon is always welcome to join. I'm very interested in your adventures. Let me see. How does next Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday sound to you guys? Even this Saturday could work. We can go for a cup of coffee. Or how about right now? You guys stay here and chat, and I'll go about my work duties. That won't do. I've already reserved today's interview schedule for you. Sorry, Mr. Traveler Paimon. We'll have to chat another time. That's okay. We got work to do anyway. We need to escort Mr. Knacker first. I must stress again that I'm just an ordinary researcher now, and I have no further information to give to you. Plus, we've also got tedious and meaningless work ahead of us. Even if you go ahead and interview me, you won't get any useful information from it. That won't be a problem, Mr. Knacker. All work has its own unique value, and it's our job to uncover it. Don't worry about me. Suit yourself, then. Let's get going, Traveler. According to the schedule, there's a document we need to get at the Institute's executive office. Hopefully, Konjat wasn't called up for some other work. This is it here. Hang on a second while I go find Miss Konjat. Oh, that place! A building floating in the air? My mind gets it. This must be one of those magical, I only want the second floor, just cut off the first floor out buildings that you hear about in stories. What stories are you reading? The Fontaine Research Institute science was the finest in the world. Was this caused by the accident, though? Indeed it was. What you're seeing now is the central laboratory of the Fontaine Research Institute. Or should I say, what once was the central laboratory. Mr. Edwin Eastinghouse was once with it. Oh, Mr. Eastinghouse! Wait, I'm pretty sure Eastinghouse is a name that's tied to, like, nuclear plants or something. Edwin's surname Eastinghouse may come from a nickname used by engineers for the Lovosia nuclear power plant in Finland to refer to the reactors. Concerned that the Soviet-designed reactors were unsafe to use, the Soviet engineers recruited help from Western companies Siemens and Westinghouse Electric Company to remodel the reactors, thereby leading them to dub the reactors Eastinghouse after the combination of Western and Eastern technology. Oh, that's so interesting. Mr. Eastinghouse was once within, trying to develop a field generator using Archeum. Initial estimates indicated that the device could lift an entire block of buildings. My guess is that the experiment didn't turn out so well. Of course, had Mr. Edwin not left 2/3 of the Fontaine Research Institute in ashes, he would have been a shoo-in for the post of next director. And today, the heavy responsibilities of that belongs to the post of director, including a lifelong stipend and private dwelling. It must be borne by the likes of Chosul and Raimondo. Paimon wonders what kind of people Raimondo and Chosul are. According to the evaluation of my peers, they're a type who can speak to you for an entire day without saying anything. I want to put that to the test. Has anyone heard of the phrase, talk less, smile more, please? Huh? So it's exceedingly accurate to say that Mr. Chosul's talents are irreplaceable. Look, Traveler, the location of your final review is the former location of the Allen Guillotine Research Institute, and now the current residence of the Institute. Before the incident, weekly lectures were held in there regarding the critical projects. Of course, the old administrative functions are still in effect and can handle the final review. What's that plaza for? There's even seats around it. Is it an amphitheater of some kind? I've heard colleagues stationed at the Institute speak of this place. That's a sacred ground to Fontainians, a place where Fanta was born. Wait, so Fanta, the drink company, is connected with the Fontaine Research Institute too? Refreshing Fanta, a font for refreshment. I hate... Traveler, did you have to say that? My brain hurts. That is the Fontaine Research Institute's academic assembly hall, and is dedicated to the purpose of displaying the fruits of our research, such as the combat-capable artifice dancers, the gramophone, and turbine-powered glider, amongst others. Previous analyses of the Institute assessed show that of the items I mentioned previously, Fanta may be the only scientific achievement that remains legally profitable. Wait, I want a wind glider that I can fly on my own. I couldn't help but notice your wording containing a few baseless accusations. I'm glad you noticed. In that case, would you mind giving me your opinion on the ongoing criminal activity of selling off research materials from within the Institute? Damn, she's hard-hitting. It is absolutely vile, and those involved in the matter ought to be arrested in accordance with the law. Huh. Well then, out of those with access to the Institute's technical assets and the capacity to commit such a crime, who do you believe it was exactly? Could it be possible that it was a criminal? Traveler, let's keep moving. I need to go to a file storage room first and retrieve the survey anchor, which we can use to monitor the strength of energy flows. It's not far. Let's go. And Konjat is sitting here, and we did not talk to Konjat at all. This document needs to be filed, and this one rewritten. Ugh, there's so much to do. Why is there a ladder going up to this window? Like, do y'all not have staircases? Is the Institute too poor to, like, get staircases or something? Mr. Knacker, you finally come. Hey, yo. We came across a little hiccup on the way. Never mind that. Have you retrieved the survey anchor yet? I was just about to bring that up with you. I don't know if it was due to the explosion, but the supporting tools that were kept here are all damaged. You should know, if you didn't use the proper tools to retrieve the anchors, you'll be subject to being stuck by a high-intensity Archeum energy flow. Oh, intense energy flow from the Archeum. Got it. Hi, what? I just said, I didn't... Relax, sweetie. You're merely speaking the truth. It's not like you offended anyone. What Miss Chalamet say was indeed the truth. I hope that I can say the same for what you'll write. Whatever the truth is placed right before me, I never pretend that it's not there. That would be a mistake. Is that so? Well, it takes only the slightest bit of effort to fixate on something, but it always takes more brain power to avert your gaze from it. It's clear they're not having an argument with each other, but why does Paimon feel like there's a vibe even scarier than if they were? Let's deal with the survey anchor first, shall we? You're right, Miss Chalamet, let's go examine the anchor. Okay, then. That said, the area where it's located is still blocked. I'll go ahead and open those ports and unblock. Traveler, as I recall, you were having an adventurer who came for recruitment, yes? Well, when assisting our institute in its work, you'll sometimes be required to carry out certain precise operations. I'd like to see your practical capabilities first. Could you please go and help Miss Chalamet operate the energy transfer terminal to clear the area where the survey anchor is of obstructions? I guess I could. Paimon thinks she's heard of this story somewhere before. It's something like, your test began the moment you set foot in this area. I love her face when she's so cute. Look at her. I want to pet her. She's like a little gremlin. You could say that. If you pass the final review, then we'll do a detailed competency assessment for you. Man, not the 36 interview process. After all, everyone excels at different things, so the work they can take on also differs. And so their compensation will differ as well. How very blunt of you. But you're not wrong. Oh, then we gotta show them our wit, traveler! Just treat this as an early assessment. Miss Chalamet's over there. She'll explain to you how to operate the terminal. Please follow her instructions and unblock the area as soon as you can. I'll be watching you from the side. If I may, Mr. Knacker, can you explain what would happen if someone were to be directly hit by an intense energy flowing from the Archeum? Coma, subcutaneous bleeding, vomiting, and so on. Would you like me to list them all one by one? If the survey anchors really are that dangerous, why would you place them in a room? You know, it feels like you're placing a coffee maker. I've already repeatedly emphasized that as long as you follow operating procedures correctly, you should not be at any risk of direct contact with said energy flows. As for why they're locked up in a room, well, to prevent certain idiots from taking any anchors away without authorization, of course. They have no idea how they work and just figured that they might sell some shiny things for a profit. We've hung up signs, distributed flyers, and even specially organized a lecture to try and tell everyone not only were they worthless, but they could also do you harm. However, the anchors continue to be stolen, and thus we had no choice but to lock them up in a room. This is the truth. Are you happy now? Okay, operate the transfer mechanism. I just do this, right? Where's the power source? Boink. What does this say, though? Secrets! This is a test text for cipher letters. I haven't thought of any suitable scenarios where this tech can be applied. Considering that the energy transfer terminals and their receiving terminals aren't widespread in Fontaine, the use of encrypted images will be limited to within Fontaine Research Institute. Telhart just loves coming up with useless inventions. I've already warned him not to vandalize the place. The encrypted messages use a special paint that requires equally special solvent to remove. The formula for the solvent needed to remove the encrypted messages is recorded below. The text below has been removed. Well, I guess. What do I need to operate? I think that's all I need to do. Excellent work, the lock's been opened. Your ability to quickly grasp the mechanics and execute are both outstanding. Don't look at the 10 hours of me struggling to actually do this. And your value far exceeds the massive majority of those who participate in experiments. I will truthfully report your performance as such. So, what's next? Whoa! Miss Cronny, what's gotten into you? I suddenly feel like I'm gonna throw up. Miss Cronny, please drink this medicine. Exposed survey anchors radiate Arceum energy traces, and the place we're now in has also been affected somewhat. However, this energy level won't leave permeated adverse effects on the body. Just take this medicine, and you'll be fine. Couldn't be me, I feel fine. Ugh, it tastes terrible! Forget it. I guess this is also a kind of first-hand experience. Traveler, these 2 bottles are you two. Please drink them quickly. Thanks, but I'm not feeling any discomfort at all. Paimon neither. Really? That's quite interesting, and it's completely at odds with the results of the applications of Arceum Risk Report 3rd edition. We should have all been affected by the same amount of Arceum energy. We're constantly journeying over mountains and seas. We're way stronger than the people you got working here. I'm the main character. Focalor am the main character. Correction. You can now assume that all of the Fontaine Research Institute staffs are now working out in the open, beneath the sun and the stars. Your report might consider mentioning the difficult work conditions we are enduring, Miss Cronny. I've been wrong without having been notified in advance. The steam bird won't just let this go. Putting this all aside, you clearly have an extremely strong innate tolerance for the energy flow, Traveler. If so, you are certainly the best candidate to assist the Institute, without question. Please approach the storage room and report any dizziness, nausea, itchiness, or any other discomfort you feel during the process. Hold on there. Are you using Traveler as a guinea pig without fulfilling your obligation to inform him of the risk first? It is clearly stated in the Institute Abbreviated Externally Contracted Employee Agreement Appendix C.41, which he signed. Prior to being officially employed, the applicant must be subject to a harmless Arceum energy flow tolerance first, and the Institute has the right to terminate the contract based upon the results of said test. I hate reading text. Who actually reads? Imagine reading! You chose not to exercise your right to read the text, but in the document that was clearly marked, please sign your name after carefully reading the document and making sure there are no mistakes. However, seeing as you are completely unaffected by the energy flow, I believe you may just be the person we're looking for. In any case, let's get down to business. Take 3 steps towards the storage room and hold for 30 seconds. Bro's actually. Time to see if I'll die. Y'all are just chilling up there. We've gotten this far, but Paimon doesn't feel anything. You feel any discomfort? Ah, my head. It feels like I'm going to explode. Huh? What's wrong, Traveler? Are you alright? Okay, that was good acting. You nearly fooled Paimon there. But, that's a relief then. Paimon was worrying about how she'd carry you out of here if you got suddenly passed out. I'm pretty sure you did it before. Also, there's a chest behind me and I really want to get it. Although we've come up this way and we can't see Knacker or the others anymore, it doesn't seem like we can hear them either. What do we do next? Ransack the area. Paimon knows, and maybe they'll check some sort of box in here and communicate with us through that. Do they even have technology that cool? We'll find out soon enough. Paimon can't wait to see what kind of cool gadgets they might use to communicate with us. Traveler, can you hear me? Oh, so they rely on the technology of shouting really loud. I can hear you. You guys feel any discomfort? I'm not dead. That's great. Please continue to survey anchor. You should be able to see it now. Once you retrieve it, you'll be temporarily fall into a dormant state and stop radiating energy. And you'll be able to come in. Ahem. Be careful. If you feel uncomfortable, then we'll get out of here. Time to press the shiny button. Oh, and suddenly you're here now? Okay. You actually managed to retrieve the survey anchor without any instruments. Like it was nothing. That's amazing. The last time we needed at least 3 of us acting together to retrieve an anchor. So what you're saying is I'm built different. Ha! I'm most certain that you're exactly the talent we've been looking for. With your help, all of our work is going to go much more smoothly. Alright, I'll keep at it for now. Let's leave this place and report back to the Institute post-haste. Where's Miss Cronny? Paimon doesn't see her anywhere. She was feeling nauseous, so she stayed up there to rest. But don't worry, she's already taken her medicine. She just needs a little bit of time. She's not dead. Huh? Miss Cronny, what are you doing down here? A bunch of mecha monsters suddenly showed up from outside. They're on my heels, about to storm in. Well, thank you for that. Ah! Look out, Traveler! Over there! So why y'all got bots that are supposed to protect you, like not protecting you? They're in fact the reverse of protecting you. They are killing my sucrose. Actually.
Burst forth. Go!
This may hurt a little. Make yourselves at home. Committed to memory.
Beep, beep, boop.
Yeah.
Beep, boop. Beep.
Yeah.
I love that my Traveler can't do anything, actually. I need a DPS in this house, and the DPS is not Traveler right now.
Live.
I would appreciate if y'all died, like, right now.
Grow, grow, grow.
Please, please stop. Stop.
Water jet.
This may hurt a little.
Maybe I should just...
Understand.
You killed the baby on her birthday! Well, first of all, that's rude. Luckily, Traveler was here. These are probably the clockwork mecha that the Institute used before the monitor energy flow. They're equipped with Archeum energy flow monitoring devices. Although they're now out of control, they still automatically converged here upon detecting the energy flow from Archeum. That one tap from Aether was deserved. Yes, exactly. Listen, poor babies just getting murdered. Mr. Knacker, should the Fontaine Research Institute be held accountable for these out-of-control mecha in the wilds? I don't object to that at all. They should be held accountable. Oh? If you truly have a way to have those buried in the ground rise up and speak again. Although I sincerely suggest that you stay here and rest, Miss Cronny. Mr. Trossel and Ramondo are at the Institute's new site. They aren't going anywhere. Once you're feeling better, then you can go and interview them. Yeah! You felt so sick that you barely even stand. Don't push yourself too hard. Your health is essential. No, I can't. Interviewing Trossel is the final step, not the beginning. That's why I'm following Mr. Knacker around. I want to experience everything firsthand and get tangible evidence. I have to question Trossel with evidence in hand. That way he won't be able to beat around the bush like last time. And lo and behold, now I'm personally experiencing this so-called harmless Archeum energy flow, no? Once I get to the Fontaine Research Institute, I'm definitely going to uncover all the hidden truths. I truly admire your professionalism, Miss Cronny. But are you sure that you'll be able to make it the rest of the way there? Don't worry, I'm right behind you guys. I'm a reporter after all. We're here. This is Marianne Memorial Park. Let's see if there's any assets that we've recovered in the state. It's a park, but it doesn't look like a park at all. There's like 2 birds. When the explosion happened, this place was hit by the first shockwaves. But there might have been some paper. Let me read the dialogue. What happened? Recover Fontaine Research Institute's assets. In the water? Where am I gonna get assets from? This thing? Oh, there's literally a thing that's like right there that I could have picked up. These materials are so broken. Miniatures personal recording device, experimental results. Not bad. Militaret will be happy to see this. He's always wanted to put... Let me read! Is there any more? Probably has to be if it's giving me a signal. Is it on top? Is there more on the side? Man, this was an institute. It's blown up now. Oh, it's literally across the waves. Never mind. This looks like old copies from the steamboat. Just toss them. It won't be useful. Financial reports from the Research Institute, but they're looking a year long out of date. Best keep them with us. So, okay, so what was that for? Is there more? There's mechas over there. me see. Oh, there might be something under the storage drums over there. Is this pile of storage drums also Institute property? I guess so, but we need to remove them. Let me read! Boink! Alright, there seems to really not be anything of value here. Time to move on. A researcher who once worked together with Edwin Eastinghouse is now kicking storage drums around in a junk heap. Meanwhile, the Fontaine Research Institute still complains about being short-handed, huh? The way these researchers go about things is truly unfathomable. Everybody's worth is reflected in different ways, and kicking storage drums is my way of doing so these days. What is this zoom in on his eyes? But I've heard that prior to Edwin's big screw-up, you had quite some sway in the Institute. Some might even say that you were second only to Edwin himself. Ah! You are that powerful? That no longer means anything. Now that I'm merely someone who is fortunate enough to survive this project. One of the culprits who turned the central laboratory into what it is today. This is the only information I can offer you, Miss Cronny. Well, I believe that was plenty. Let me write that down, huh? Where's my pen and notebook? My whole bag disappeared. I put it right next to a strange-looking mecha just now. Where did it go? You mean the one right behind you? Huh? She's about to get knocked out. Help! Good job.
Go!
You messed up.
Yeah!
You did a dedge.
Burst for... Ah! Witness my great undertaking.
Stand clear. Absorption test. Grow, grow, grow. This might hurt a little.
You know what? They're not doing the worst, but they're not doing the best either. At least they produce, oops.
Stand clear.
At least they produce, Electro, so it works with Hyper Bloom,
Committed
technically.
to memory. This might hurt a little. I'm seeing stars.
Please! Stop trying to kill the child. Would appreciate
Share
that.
my knowledge. Committed to memory.
Go!
This might hurt a little.
The eyes look so fucked up. I mean, it's like kind of like staring you in the face. What's up with these mecha monsters? Why do they move sometimes and stop moving in others? I fear that anyone could answer your question is now, indisposed. Let's hurry over to the Institute. Traveler needs to participate in the final qualifications and things. I wish I could read. Raimondo, nothing could go wrong here, right? Everything is running according to the set orbit, Chosio. Round and round it goes without any errors. Error-free everything it might be, but I'm worried about getting dizzy. Mr. Chosio, Mr. Raimondo. Ah, Knacker, it's great to see you. Have you taken care of those survey anchors? I trust that you've done as you always have, completed your task to perfection. I have. Allow me to give you two a brief report. With Traveler's assistance, the anchor was successfully retrieved without any equipment. That's unbelievable. You were able to retrieve one without the use of any instruments? Goodness, thank heavens. The entire institute right now only has 3 complete sets of such equipment, and I was honestly worried about how we might retrieve the anchors as soon as possible. I didn't do anything special. It's nothing compared to the other things I've been through. Is there any critical data in the anchor, Mr. Choso? Of course not. Some insignificant data, Miss Cronny. I agree with you. After all, there's no way for insignificant data to radiate with harmful Archeum energy flows, is there? Energy flow? Of course. It's necessary and, must exist as a technological means of preserving the... What I'd really like to know is why is the Fontaine Research Institute placed these survey anchors to monitor the Archeum energy flow after the explosion? Certainly. Obviously, these survey anchors are, used for monitoring... Miss Cronny talks so fast, like... A dendro slime on fire. Allow me to be more specific. How exactly is the Fontaine Research Institute planning to deal with this explosion? Yes, I was just about to answer that question. This was an excellent question to ask, as many people are concerned about it. Miss Cronny, I'm so delighted that you come to visit again. I must stress on the behalf of Mr. Chosel that the Institute has never changed its solution to the explosion. Once we've recovered all the retrievable research assets at the old site, we will demolish the old central laboratory and do our best to restore area's natural environment to its original state. By central laboratory, do you mean that the building floating in the air? How are you gonna demolish a building like that? Blow it up like before? Of course we shan't be using crude and simple solutions. This demolition will utilize our newly researched experimental field generator. This device can deactivate the gravity alternating field that surrounds the Institute's ruins and land them on the ground safely. But wasn't this device also within said ruins, and wasn't it also a work of Edwin Eastinghouse that used Arceum as its energy source? Based on what you're saying, the Fontaine Research Institute is still unwilling to give up this harmless Arceum project, yes? I don't think they're gonna give it up that easily. You've been keeping up with what she's saying? Nope, just repeated her last sentence. Listen, I've been keeping up. I got the vibes. Hey, have you been doing this to pretend that you understand what's going on? That's what you do all the time because you have no brain cells. Anyway, the Fontaine Research Institute is still trying to do dangerous stuff in dangerous ways, right? Great summary, Miss Paimon. If we're discussing the uncontrolled risks, well, even walking on the road may be dangerous. Also, you should note that the energy source we're using is the completely new and stable Tri-State Arceum. How does that differ from normal Arceum? Does this new word in front of it mean anything? This to me seems like a purely rhetorical maneuver. I'm sure Mr. Choso would be happy to have an in-depth conversation with you about grammar, but I've left Mr. Knacker hanging on for too long, and I really think that's impolite. Mr. Knacker, I've trusted you done everything I've asked. With Traveler's help, everything couldn't have gone any better. This is an adventurer who came from the recruitment? Knacker recounts Ramondo everything that happened, emphasizing the amazing talent you displayed when retrieving the survey anchor. He also briefly touches on Cronny's ironclad professionalism as well as the severe vomiting reaction she had. From the joking look of Knacker's face, there seems to be no ill intent in his jest about the committed reporter. Or so you assume. That is rare, extremely rare. I'm delighted that you're applying for work at the Institute, Traveler. After 100 years of bad luck, we're finally catching a break. I'm confident you'll be of great help to us. Here's the documents that I signed and definitely did not read. Leave them over here. Don't worry about them. Aren't you gonna take a look at them? We spent ages on them, and Mr. Desnos also took them very seriously. These documents definitely have their uses. They certainly help us weed idiots out, at least. As for you, however, I believe that your good qualities go far beyond what they can summarize, so let's leave them alone for now. So, are you saying that we pass the review? Without a doubt, yes. I will personally prepare the contract and notice that you'll need to sign up for a follow-up work. Until then, Mr. Naka? Yes? While Miss Cronny appears to be having discussion about energy safety with Miss Choso, how about you take Traveler to retrieve the last 2 survey anchors? The energy flow control operations are nearing completion, and all that's left is the data compilation. Oh well, at least everything's under control. Are you guys heading somewhere else? I'll come along too. This reporter lady sure has pretty good ears. What should we do, Ramondo? Do you think we can convince this journalist? Tri-State Arceum. I always felt that name would bring us trouble. Chosol, you think that name is not up to current grammatical standards and the people will criticize us for being superficial? No, Tri-State Arceum may be different from Arceum in name, but it looks exactly the same no matter how one looks at it. This is not a problem, as its internal structure is indeed different. Difference between it and Arceum is like good guys and bad guys. They're both people. It's very different in society. Ramondo, people never bother to tell the good guys from the bad guys, much less the nature of a piece of rock. They'll say, hey, this rock looks like Arceum, and it works like Arceum, so why isn't it called Arceum? Relax, Choso. I've already prepared the explanation script. Ooh, keep listening. I want to spy. See? The energy source that drives the experimental field generator is not Arceum, but a new one called Tri-State Arceum. This type of core is an inert variant of Arceum that was created due to a special transformation process. After entering the all-new silent excitement state, it is much more stable than the original's excited state. this won't do. They'll just say that we're doing some kind of rhetorical trick. This rhetoric is also based on strict academic classification. All in all, you'll witness it's excellent after this display. But this certainly won't be able to satisfy that group of reporters. They can never be satisfied, Mr. Choso. All we need to do is put up a display. That's all. Interesting. Interesting that everyone's kind of just being like, yes, it looks almost the exact same. So it's the same, but not the same. Is this where the researchers spend their downtime? Is this even humane? Has the Fontaine Research Institute ever considered making a renovation to this place a priority? There should be a survey anchor here. Just like Miss Cronny implied, this place needs a renovation. And the power supply here is very limited. Or perhaps I should say there's a complete shortage. While I'm answering Miss Cronny's question, I'll leave the job of recovering the survey anchor to you, Traveler. Because I refuse to do any work. Compared to some other areas, the dormitory weren't impacted as much by the explosion. Dormitories? Well, I don't even see one bed here. How did the researchers get any rest? It's not like they can sleep in chairs, right? Miss Cronny, your idea of resting is very different from that of researchers. When a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute says they need rest, they only want a quick break for their brain. Then they would usually come here, play piano, read, have a drink or two if necessary. Oh, but wouldn't sleeping provide more rest for the brain? You may be correct, but to our researchers, sleeping is a waste of time in the first place. Wow, the researchers are me. Sleeping is a waste of time. No, it's essential for rest. Sleeping completely cuts your train of thought short, and that's just not acceptable for our research work. Are you being serious? If you don't sleep, the only thing that you'll be cut short is your life. Not necessarily. The Institute boasts an excellent healthcare system that guarantees researchers' health and well-being. But that's still no reason to not sleep. Also, if researchers are here to give their brains a break, wouldn't that break their thought process from research anyway? Not necessarily. It only seems like they're taking a break when actually they're still pondering different academic subjects subconsciously. It's akin to a vast ocean that, while appearing calm on the surface, still has a strong undercurrent beneath. Sometimes the undercurrent below are much stronger than the towering waves above. I get it. You mean when researchers at the Fontaine Research Institute are on a project, they must keep working and are not allowed to rest, right? That's not completely fair to say. If they truly need sleep, they are free to go back home and do just that. So, it is fair to say that as long as researchers of the Fontaine Research Institute are inside the Institute, they must keep working and are not allowed to rest. Your rhetoric is simply astounding, Miss Cronny. Damn, the way she warped that is crazy. I think I've done this puzzle already. Yeah, I've done this puzzle already. Looks like our collection of work is proceeding apace. There's no time to lose. I want Sumeru healthcare. Oh my god, healthcare for work. Americans be jealous. No, actually, imagine having healthcare for work. There should be a survey anchor here too. I'll open the door and leave the recovery to you, Traveler. Whee! Yeah, I still can't forget how Choso kept equivocating. Now Ramondo, so haughty and arrogant. You see how he was looking at me? I think you're much better than either of those two. Things would have never turned out like this if you were in their position. You never know. The main character can do something. I hope they don't try to kill me. Well, yeah, there we go. I was about to say, I hope they don't try and kill me. And then they try and kill me.
The risk is growing, but it poses no threat.
How did you wipe out Nouvelette in like a second? He was my one DPS in this mission. Also, there's dialogue and I can't read it. They consumed a lot of anti-medics? What does that mean?
Stand clear.
I wish I could read in this story. Genshin, please stop putting the battles and then allowing me to read. Let me read the story.
Settle down.
Oh my god, I'm leaving. Bye. All right, back to you two. I have your stuff. Mr. Raimondo, the survey anchors have all been retrieved. Looks like we really got the right person for this job this time. Put them over here. Someone will come and handle them. Now, let us get down to business. Come over here, please, Traveler. There's some documents you'll need to sign. More documentation? What am I doing? Writing a book? They're so thick! Hey, yo! Why are there so many documents? Because no matter how one looks at it, escorting a researcher into the ruins of the Fontaine Research Institute and then landing said ruin shall be no small matter. And since it's such an important matter, it is only natural for us to explain every detail to the one carrying out the work. Who am I escorting? Why, that'd be Mr. Naka, of course. Across the entire institute. There's no one better suited than him to deal with the central laboratory ruins. I request that I accompany Mr. Naka. What? I think this is a terrific proposal. Trussell, did you forget that we mentioned when we came up with the plan? We must keep the public informed about rebuilding the institute with the utmost transparency. That's right. The new Fontaine Research Institute has nothing to hide. Edwin made some mistakes, but we're in the past now. Please go write a report on it. Go to the ruins of the institute and see the mistakes Edwin Eastinghouse made. Looking back again, the institute now is just what we've been working toward. The cause we stand for. But allow me to emphasize once again that... And here we go again. Paimon's about to fall asleep. I'm about to fall asleep. I truly admire how much you guys have to say and like hearing your own voice. Maybe you should call me after you're done talking? Yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with us, and this is a good time for a break anyway. No, it's important business, so please come this way. Under Armando's guidance, you signed many complicated documents. Thanks to your prior experience, you finished signing them before you know it this time. That sentence did not... I could not figure out that sentence. Alright, that should be all of them. Thank you, Traveler. You are now an externally contracting assistant researcher for the Fontaine Research Institute. What about Paimon? Does Paimon get a title? You're my important assistant, Paimon. Assistant? That doesn't sound as cool. Don't worry, assistants play an absolutely critical role within the Institute. But let us get back to business, shall we? Things right now in the Institute are rather complicated. The matters you'll be dealing with are also urgent, so I won't keep you for much longer. While you're on your way, Mr. Naka will inform you of some things to note, as well as what you might actually need to do. The rest is up to you now. A lot rests on your shoulders, Mr. Naka. Well then, please follow me, Traveler. We must get to the ruins. Sure thing! Don't forget me! Yes, and you. How could I possibly forget you? Oh, I see a lovers to, enemies to lovers relationship between these two. Anyway. What do you have to say afterwards? Armando, during our last meeting, did I really mention that we must keep the public informed about rebuilding the Institute with utmost transparency? I really don't remember that. Perhaps I should check it for the meeting notes? Could you please tell me what page it was exactly? If by checking it in the meeting notes you mean that you wish to see this point made clear in writing, I must say it won't happen, as such point cannot be summarized into a single sentence. This point was made based on the overall essence of the meeting, which was to first address morality and human relations and the sum of total social norms. Lastly, this concept, when extracted with countless specific words and actions, is so broad and generic that anyone can see and comprehend its abstract concept. So what you're really saying is I didn't say that. Correct. Good job. Y'all messed up. Come on, Traveler. Miss Clorant, this way. Not Clora, Cronny. So you mean we're going to delve into this patch of water? That's right. With the help of the allogravity condensed water, we can ascend the ruins of the Institute safely and efficiently. If you don't wish to do it that way, you may also go to the opposite bank and glide from the highest mountain using a wind glider. Forget it. I am not good at using a wind glider, and I really not used to heights either. Very well. Now I'll go over a few things to keep in mind when it comes to allogravity condensed water. Knacker details the considerations when using of said allogravity condensed water. So in a nutshell, it's the same as when swimming or diving. Diving in midair will be quite a novelty. In that case, please do enjoy experiencing for yourself. Is everyone ready, Miss Crony? You can still back out now if you like, and simply wait here for us to return. Reporters never back down. I'll be right behind you guys. I'll try to, anyway. Alrighty then, if you insist. Let's get going now. This? What's that large plate? That is the experimental field generator that Mr. Edwin developed. Huh? Didn't it already blow up? It looks perfectly fine now. The thing that exploded wasn't this machine, but the Archeum core that powers its core driver. The Archeum kinetic core. This thing. Will it suddenly start moving by itself? Relax, this big guy can't move now while it's lost its power supply. But if you were to somehow turn on its power supply, maybe it'd start moving. But didn't Ramondo say that we needed to use it to make the ruins descend? If it can't move, only a part of it will be activated. The Tri-State Archeum can only support its operation at half speed. But that should be enough to relieve an abnormal gravity state the central laboratory ruins are in. Paimon doesn't understand that at all. What do you need us to do? Please follow me. The place where we will need to work is in the back. Hey, yo, in the what? Miss Crotty, please stay here. Some areas in the back contain Institute secrets, and you're not allowed to have any exposure to them. So why would you tell the reporter, hey, there's secrets here, and then tell him to wait outside? Like, that's a... She's gonna go in and find the secrets. Like, come on. I can see that back of yours from here. What secrets could be hidden inside? I have no idea either, and that's why you're definitely not allowed inside. What nonsense! Anyway, please wait here. If you take the photos randomly, you might capture something related to Institute secrets. For example, the, formula for the sugar-free berry-flavored Fanta. This new Fanta product is quite important to the Institute. If you leak any information to the outside world, you'll need to undergo a 1-month confidential investigation. Must report to Mason Gestion at the Palace Memoria 3 times every day and be questioned. Of course, you'll need to stop your journalistic work. Don't worry, even if I get taken away by the Palace Memoria for questioning, that'll only be because I've uncovered the secret you're hiding. I won't let myself be forced to stop working for a reason as absurd as leaking some Fontaine formula. I admire your work ethic. I hope everything goes well with your photo taking. Traveler, let's go. There's still work for us to do. What do you guys say? Huh? What was Knacker doing? I don't know. Sometimes I really don't get why the Institute had to design the support clockwork mecha to look like humans. You know why. You know exactly why, Knacker. Just from the perspective of supporting research, hands and feet are far worse than tracking a multifunctional clockwork mecha apertures. What's this rock? Oh, it's abyssal looking. I don't like that. Oh, this is Archeum that supplies energy to the experimental field generator. Great, we're gonna power it up. And you know who's over there? Cronny, which means she gonna die. What restrains it is the energy supply device created by Mr. Edwin. See this here? This circuit connects to the generator. Of all the inert Archeum we found, this one was the best in terms of purity and stability. And then, boom, it went. That came down to Mr. Edwin. I trust that this wasn't the cause... Or at least it shouldn't take all the blame. Whoa! It's not gonna blow up again, right? When that happens, I'm gonna need you to take us to the skies, Paimon. Well, it doesn't have super strength, but if it does really blow up, then Paimon could give it a shot. Don't worry, now that Mr. Edwin's not around, we're completely safe. Alright, I'm about to use Raimondo's catalyst to transform the Archeum into the Tri-State Archeum and activate that big fellow outside. You know, where Cronny is! She's definitely not gonna get injured or something. Then these ruins should be able to safely land on the ground. Traveler, could you please help me take some photos of the area? I need to use them as evidence for my work record. Didn't you just say taking photos wasn't allowed? It's fine, they'll be used for reference in the Institute and won't be distributed. Unless you secretly keep a few for yourself. I trust you won't do? Oh, right. When you're taking photos, please look for Miss Cronny while you're doing so. I've got no idea where she's run off to or where she's hiding. I really don't want to start the generator only to find a lady tossed into midair. How suspicious? What's suspicious? Oh, Traveler, you gave me a fright. How are you able to walk around without making any noise? Because I am the main character. You're just too focused. Speaking of it, you followed us all the way here. Have you managed to find anything? Not really. Since Mr. Knacker said all that, I don't really want to get in trouble. In the end, all I could take pictures of were these dilapidated houses, broken rocks, and a motionless machine, which is about to not be motionless anymore, actually. I bet if I were able to take some photos of Big Scoop if I could fly in the air just like you can, Paimon. Why be a reporter if you can fly? I was born to do this. It's the reason I exist. I'm too very sure that, Miss Clara. Cronny. I keep reading it as Clorond. What? You're also able to walk without making any noise? Is this a new technology of the Institute's developed? Unfortunately, we don't teach walking courses. I've already completed all the preparations. In any case, Traveler, please take Miss Cronny back to the Institute. Once the experimental field generator is activated, it will rapidly change the gravity in the surrounding area. It's going to collapse onto the ground, bro. I've been through enough professional training and I know what to do in this situation. For your safety, it would be best if you stay away from here. And how exactly are you gonna get down? You don't need to worry about me. Mr. Edwin taught me how to use a generator personally. No one in the Institute can control this big guy as freely as I can. Not even Mondo. Well, guess we'll have to leave it to a professional then. Be careful! Go now. We'll meet again on the surface. Traveler, you're back. How is the work coming along? It's fine.
There's still some finishing touches that ought to be left to a professional. So Mr. Knacker's still up there.
I feel like I haven't contributed that much, actually. Don't say that. You're our safety rope. Without you, dear Traveler, how could we have dared to let Mr. Knacker go up there by himself? It could be said that the trip itself was a brilliant success. There were other benefits as well. Miss Cronny's managed to photograph some thought-provoking images that she would like me to ask about. And a few of those pictures could prove even more interesting for Mr. Knacker. Let's not talk about that for now. Come, let us take a photo together. Monsieur Choso will also need to present you with a certificate and an honorary title. Honorary title? Again?
Ooh, and what about Paimon? Paimon will also get a promotion from assistant, right?
Seeing as your traveler's companion, then I guess you could join in on this photo. As to the title, there's no honorary title for Paimon. Honorary titles must remain limited in quality and stay relatively rare. Otherwise, how we get sponsors and support through awarding them.
Oh, all right then. Then allow me to reward Paimon.
Oh!
The honorary title of Best Companion. Hey, what kind of nonsense titles are those? They're already best buddies. Paimon doesn't need a title for that. You better make Travelers really awesome.
Of course, this honorary title is of the highest standing. Besides, haven't you also been promoted to assistant to honorary senior researcher? Come on, let's go get that photo taken.
Assistant's still an assistant, no matter how many words you put after it.
All right, let's take the photo. It's an occasion to remember. Once with Tresol, you're... Oh, looks like he's having a nice conversation with Cronny. Hence, this operation is a stepping stone to rebuilding the Institute. We can do it, and it is our duty to do so. It has always been. I can't wait to see everything collapse from the sky. As a formal site of the Institute, we'll keep it preserved forever and rebuild it as the Fontaine Research Institute's Safety Education Center. I think I've just had about enough. I'm certain that everyone has been benefited from your speech, Monsieur Choso. But now the time to take a photo together with Traveler, wouldn't you say? Yes, of course. We must take a photo and mark this occasion for our dear honorary senior researcher of the Fontaine Research Institute. Please give us a second, Miss Cronny. This shouldn't take too long. Oh, don't worry. It's not like the things you just said weren't all cliches anyway. Weren't you guys going to take a photo together? I just so happen to have a camera with me. Please go and stand in position. I've traveled a long way to get here, so please at least make it worth the trip, okay? Aw. Oh, that's bad! What the hell's going on? Oh. And everyone died. R.I.P. Knacker, I guess. Actually, R.I.P. Knacker. Goodbye. He's dead. Don't know what happened. He's gone now. Not to grow more powerful, my cubes. What was that explosion just now? We were just taking a photo together. It's such a ceremonious greeting. Yes, it's serene. Damn, they put fireworks and everything in this photo. Pyrotechnics, wow. I don't believe that was an explosion. All things considered, it's probably a controllable...
It was an explosion! Paimon was nearly blown away just now. If not, what else could have been?
Mr. Tresol, would you please explain this to us? Was this something that you had anticipated? I must say you have a very good question. A very excellent one. Many people are wondering the same thing. color of these bodies of water. Could it be the condenser components already in? Wait, Knacker hasn't come down yet. You're right, he hasn't returned yet. Let's not delay. Traveler, we need to go now. Wait, I want to go too. The truth behind this explosion. Please do not act rashly, Miss Reporter. If you dip one of your toes into that water, you'll be saying goodbye to the world within a minute. Don't scare me. Would you please just stay here? Traveler, according to your previous experience, that energy flow that remains in these bodies of water shouldn't affect you too much. Please get to the ruins as quickly as you can. I'll find my own way up, and I'll meet you there. Oh, wait, did it get mixed with primordial seawater? Why is it purple? Your own way? I have my ways. After the explosion, I was among one of the first up here to conduct disaster investigation and evaluation. Things at that time were much more complicated than they are now. Anyway, enough talk. Let's get moving. Hopefully, Mr. Knacker won't meet the same fate that Edwin did. What? How can I get up there? Also, will that medicine work? He said that as long as I touch it in those pictures. Darn it, I need to think of a way. My goodness, this was also protected? Oh my. It's purple! Oh, the cubes are purple on the map now! Oh, I don't like that. Primordial seawater is not a good snack. Stop. Oh. No. What the heck? Oh, he's so dead. Bro's dead. He's not. You think he escaped from this? This guy's dead. Why are there so many left here? We just met somebody the last time, didn't we? Seems that the explosion just now caused that Archeum to release another wave of energy, which awakened another. Please dismantle them, Traveler, quickly, please. I don't like any of this. This bad. I don't. This not good.
Witness the power of
not. This is not at all good. I hate this. I hate everything about this. Oh God. Oh wait. This reminds me of the Book of Esoterics Revelations thing. I don't like this. Hey, Knacker, are you like possibly dead in explosions on the ground? Oh, he's so dead, dude. It looks like Archeum overloaded, and the cooling mechanisms also damaged. Knacker, what have you done here exactly? Oh, there were crystals on the side here before, and then now they're all gone. This is my fault. I didn't think that Knacker would be still unsatisfied, despite all the benefits I gave him. Huh? Benefits? Wait a second. Why are you looking at me like that? Did he say anything to you? You tell Ramondo of your encounters with Knacker, his attitude towards various matters. Sweet talk. Can you tell you guys then that it was people like him, Edwin's successors, who are reaping the benefits of this mess by stealing all kinds of information and selling it for a fortune? You guys are telling completely different stories. Paimon doesn't know who to believe anymore. If only he were here and we could find out the truth. Paimon doesn't see him at all, though. If he's not here, where could he have gone? Maybe he's dead. I don't think he was killed at the very least. I'll explain why later. For now, though, we must stabilize this Archeum as quickly as we can. What do you mean he's not dead? There was an explosion in the sky. The suppression system shut down and the ore is presently in an excited state. That's what's caused the explosion. That's what's caused the explosion? But this big rock doesn't even blow it up at all. I don't understand. Alright, I agree that this is indeed quite difficult to understand. I'll explain it in simpler terms for you. Guess I have no choice now. The experimental field generator that Edwin created is extremely powerful. It can manipulate gravity. This is, I believe you know already. After the explosion, all the Archeum and the Institute shattered into fragments. Among these fragments, many of them could have turned into an excited state and then triggered an explosion at any time. With use of the gravity fields, they were all but restrained and gathered beneath our feet. That explosion just before was one small one caused by a small part of Archeum in the ruins that was affected by energy flow. I guess you could call it a minor rehearsal of the third great explosion? Uh-huh. Then the ruins are a super huge ready to explode piece of Archeum. So, you guys did all this not because you wanted to retrieve assets, but because you weren't scared this place would explode again? That's just one of the objectives of this operation. But right now, our priority is to retrieve the condensing components that fell into the water and restart the suppression device. There's also archeum inside those components, and the intensity energy flows has likely caused unpredictable changes to the water bodies. Forgive me, but I'm not really capable of retrieving them and installing them back on the inhibitor. Only you are capable of doing this, Traveler. Please, for the court of Fontaine, and since it's urgent, I'll get the job done first.
Once it's all over, you better explain things clearly!
If all goes well, I'll tell you everything I know. That Mr. Knacker really knows how to create trouble for others, just like that boss of his, Edwin Eastinghouse. What are you doing here? Can't really catch a break here. Not only did the explosion break off the condensing components of the device, it also destroyed the self-sustaining system of the inhibitor. I'm about to remove the 2 backup pneumosa cores of the experimental field generator, use them to supply the energy to the inhibitor.
Luckily, this big fella can't move. Otherwise, we wouldn't even have time to run.
You mean it's not moving right now?
Hey, knock on wood. Don't say things like that. What if it actually starts moving?
Knowing us, it will actually start moving. Don't worry, its main source of energy is a big chunk of archeum behind it. Though the archeum has transformed into an activated state, the explosion damaged all the energy supply lines, and so it's lost all of its energy supply. Huh? The archeum kinetic core should have been right here. What did it...
Hold on. You said that the pneumosa cores were a backup energy source. And isn't the activation condition for backup energy sources the complete loss of energy?
Oh no. Who could have predicted this from happening? Oh no, I have the wrong team! No! Wait! Back up! Are you in the wrong team?
A few minutes later.
It stopped! I knew you would do it. Quick, grab those 2 cores. Let's hook it up to the power. Just like before, you go connect the energy source, I'll adjust the device.
Wow, how abyssal looking. I hate it. Thanks.
I hate how everything works here. Finally, it's stabilized. The archeum has transformed into an inert state. We and the Fontaine Research Institute are safe for now. But it seems like there are ever more secrets. As for the things you'd like to know, I'll be happy to answer, but not right now. What I can tell you now, based on my hypothesis, is that Mr. Naka stole the archeum kinetic core and triggered this small explosion. But before explaining in too much detail, we should return to the Institute and place proper notation and partitions to this interlude. Or at the very least, we need to stop Miss Journalist from getting more deeply involved. The archeum kinetic core is connected to too many other matters, and we must handle it in complete confidentiality. So, I would like you to cooperate with my work. Cooperate with your work?
You're not saying to play along with your lives, are you? The scarier something is, the more you should share with others. Then we can all work together to deal with it faster.
I have my doubts about that, you two. Every matter has its own way of being dealt with, and in this instance, we must first call for silence. But I promise that I will never have you steal from your moral standards or demand you have the same standards of behavior as we do. All I ask is for you to remain quiet. You need not do anything else. You might be wondering why I would have you remain silent while telling you the truth. I'll just come out and say it now. Your coming here is the only good fortune that our institute has had in a nearly 100 years. No matter what the cost is, we must maintain good relations with you. I'm sure Mr. Trousseau feels the same way. You telling me that truth is also a cost as far as you're concerned? Is transparency something you'd consider a cost as well?
Yeah, you're only telling us the truth now, which you should have done ages ago! What sort of cost is that?
Dear Sir Paimon, telling you the truth, honestly, in truth, is the greatest price one can pay. Let's go back. I ask sincerely for your understanding to provide all necessary cooperation. Why is there so much red tape surrounding this? So, are you gonna tell me that all this was because you were experimenting with primordial seawater and I don't know, it's the underground stuff and then the abyssal power, and then suddenly, like, you get all this power and that's what was powering the archeum, and then blah 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 blah, things happen, abyssal power bad, and now everything's like this. I don't know. Miss Cronny, everything we do is in the best interest for the people of the court of Fontaine. So what you're saying is that the Fontaine Research Institute predicted the explosion just now? Are you kidding? You think I'm a gestionnaire? You can't hoodwink me that easily. I think Monsieur Chusol has expressed himself clearly enough. The situation is still under control. The status quo of Court of Fontaine will not be adversely affected. Now allow me to make a statement explaining the events that really occurred. That's enough, mister! I don't believe you for 1 second! Traveler, you should have seen everything, right? I'm begging you, tell me the truth! Ooh, either we cooperate with Ramondo for now, or tell them the truth. Okay, but if she tells the people the truth, right? She's gonna make it into a fantastical story, and that's gonna cause riots. I don't know how good that's gonna be. Like, I don't think it's something that the people of Fontaine need to be concerned about right now. But also, I'm just like, I want to tell her the truth, but even I don't know the explanation. For the sake of how people could possibly riot in Fontaine, and that would make Nuvi's job harder, I'm gonna cooperate with Raimondo. No need to bother the Traveler anymore, Miss Crony. Allow me to explain the truth. Don't even think of trying to get away with it, Mr. Raimondo. I saw Archeum with my own eyes. This explosion must have been caused by it. Did you not repeatedly emphasize before that all the Archeum had been properly processed and disposed of? Just what are you hiding? I haven't hidden anything. This explosion was always a controllable hazard removal directional blast. Controllable hazard... Wait, hazard removal what? Mind you all don't bite your tongues on that. It basically means to use small controlled blasts to quickly remove Archeum fragments, with the goal of activating the experimental field generator as quickly as possible. But couldn't have imagined that Mr. Naka would steal the Archeum kinetic core needed to start the experimental field generator. Not only that, but he intentionally activated the large chunk of Archeum, using it to draw our attention while he made his escape. So, is this the ploy that you came up with just now to dump all the blame onto a researcher who could be dead right now for all you know? I think what you really want is to hide the fact that you were completely incapable of dealing with the Archeum. The Archeum is still a major threat to the Court of Fontaine. Ridiculous! A person's life isn't something you can throw away just to help spread your own lies. I've already told you the truth, Miss Crony. Please, listen to a final word of advice. It takes only the slightest bit of effort to fixate on something, but it always takes more brain power to avert your gaze from it. Enough! I won't listen to another word you say, nor will I dwell on this. Your words, deeds, and all the facts concealed by the Institute will be reported on in the next issue of the Steambird. Good day, gentlemen. Miss Crony strides away from the Fontaine Research Institute. Thank goodness that's finally over with. Oh, thank you too, Traveler. I did what I should. Such humility. In this day and age, those who do not do what they should are already outstanding. You didn't make assumptions about whether something good or bad based on your subject thoughts. Instead, you think carefully about what you do and say for the sake of a greater good. Truly an excellent person.
But is this really okay? Paimon thinks that we should tell everyone the truth.
I mean, I think so too. There's no need to bear such heavy burden, dear Traveler. You only cooperated after listening to my repeated entreaties. I am a senior technician of the Fontaine Research Institute, and the responsibility for this matter falls squarely on me, and me alone. But Miss Crony said she has already obtained the truth she wants for herself. I wish her well. But as for us, we still have much to be concerned about. For example, the whereabouts of Mr. Naka and the Archeum kinetic core. But shouldn't we first give you a few awards as well, Monsieur Chusol? Right. Let's take another group photo together. The one we took before had an unseemly explosion in the background. The new photo must be decent enough to be worthy of your status as our honorary senior researcher. Chusol and Raimondo stand in the same position as before, and the Institute researcher takes a photo for everyone. Perfect! Look at us! A decent bunch of decent people. The instantaneous award ceremony has finally come to an end.
Paimon hopes we won't have to ever attend such a pompous ceremony ever again.
This certificate and trophy are for you. I'll post a copy of the Institute bulletin board later. I hope our researchers will follow your example. On this path, we must strive to take our lead, overcome all obstacles, and put 120% of our... Actually, I have more questions for you. Of course, I know what you want to ask, even though your questions are all
Friend,
extremely complicated. I'm willing to answer them. In any case, I believe we'll all have more opportunities to grow together in the future, honorary senior researcher. Whoa, that's done? This ends here. What? You say afterwards. There's something I can help you with. Oh, there we go. More story. Why do you think Knacker is still alive? Considering the interest of the Institute and my personal point of view, I do in fact hope that both he and the Archeum kinetic core were obliterated in that explosion. Oh, never mind. That would mean that the last traces of Edwin Eastinghound's influence here would be gone for good. Like I said earlier, that explosion was actually a small-scale Archeum fragment resonance. Moreover, most of the Archeum fragments in the explosion radius were all waste that had been fully depleted of energy. Logically speaking, if there was a large Archeum chunk had gone out of control, causing all waste to resonate, such a violent explosion should not have occurred. The only possibility is that someone specifically collected Archeum that has not been depleted from the other areas and piled them here. Then they overloaded the large Archeum chunk on purpose to create an Archeum resonance, to trigger an explosion to cover up their traces that would have existed otherwise. Naka has always conducted research with Edwin and has good understanding of the nature of Archeum. It wouldn't take him much effort to do something like this. Still, that's my preliminary conjecture. As for what happens next, we'll need to wait for the Research Institute to conduct a more detailed investigation. So this is gonna come out in 4.2. I'm assuming there's gonna be another connection for this. Why did he steal this core? This Archeum kinetic core is the most cutting-edge technology created by the Fontaine Research Institute to date. It wouldn't be a bad idea to sell it or use it in development of another project. But considering his level of academic expertise, I would rather sell his Archeum kinetic core for a good price. I wonder if Mr. Knacker ended up working with the Fatui. Right? We saw a bunch of Fatui members working around those like type of machinery, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to research into it. I don't know for what, but about the Archeum kinetic core. It's the yellow journalism for me! I mean, yeah, that was a trend at the time, so that could be the thing. Before we discuss this further, I believe Mr. Naka or Miss Cronny must have mentioned something to you already. They must have told you that my research projects and those of Edwin Eastinghouse had some overlap. But this is not entirely accurate. In fact, the Archeum kinetic core is the fruit of my joint research with him. In theory, if we constantly inject the kinetic core with enough energy, we can easily allow the experimental field generator to run at its full power. After creating the core, we both realized the problem. We could barely find any way of keep injecting it with enough energy to keep it at maximum power. Edwin and I tried powering it with a mixture of Pneumosa and Archeum energy, or by connecting a large numbers of Archeum cores in a series to create a superpower group, but neither worked. That was the situation until we found that giant Archeum. Although it was always in an inert state, Edwin and I were certain that this ore had unprecedented purity. We believed that the right treatment, this ore could definitely output the large amount of energy we needed. But then Edwin and I had a disagreement. I offered up a more conservative proposal, but he wanted to solve a problem rather more quickly. You should know everything else that happened after that. About Edwin. He was a genius in the field of scientific research. It was no exaggeration to say that his talent was only second to our first director, Alain Guillotine. At the same time, he was an inhumane monster. Nothing mattered to him other than his scientific research. Edwin is willing to do anything or pay any price to advance his research. He once told me that his research results were the only remuneration he needed. He said, "I don't believe any remuneration. To me, research itself is the best reward." However, even though Edwin is a pure researcher and people under him were all experts in furthering their own interests, that is. Some secretly sold researcher assets, some plagiarized research results, and some used his name to scam others. They ruined the Fontaine Research Institute's reputation, little by little. Like I said before, as long as his research could advance, Edwin couldn't do anything about this. In this way, they used Edwin's name to take all the Institute's resources for themselves. The Institute could only continue to conduct detailed reviews on the personnel and funding of Edwin's project team. Mr. Trousseau led many of these review operations personally. However, in the mouths of such people, these actions were constructed as bureaucratic arrogance and distrust of researchers. More and more conflicts took place between us, and no one knew how to resolve them. but now those conflicts no longer exist. Because he's dead. About the current situation. Your question is not a technical one, but rather an administrative one. I think you should ask Mr. Chosol about this instead. Oh. So? About the Institute's current state. Everything's good. It's better than ever. Now that we have the egomaniac Edwin is gone, the gang of thieves under him no longer exists either. More importantly, the Institute has a chance to be reborn. We can take off the shackles and burdens of the past and focus wholeheartedly on building up foundations once again. That is to work hard for the well-being of all the people at the court of Fontaine. I'm currently gathering some people and preparing a code of conduct for our organization. It will include principles of the use of funds, research asset management methods, and ethical standard that should be observed in scientific research and work. All research-related behavior at our institute will have relevant rules and provisions. Ah, what a wonderful future. It is simply the best. Okay, I'm gonna pretend that you never said that. Why do you think Knacker stole the core? You still remember me flipping through the pictures Miss Crony took in the ruins. There's one of Knacker working in front of the suppression devices. It's quite blurry, but I'm quite certain that his actions are definitely not part of any operational procedure.
That doesn't really mean anything, though. Maybe a thief came flying across from a nearby mountain and stole the core?
That's most definitely impossible. The energy flow of the Archeum here is the best and anti-theft measure there is. It got stolen, my guy! No ordinary person can withstand it. Besides, the timing of the experimental field generator's activation is simply too perfect. It cannot be a mere coincidence. I have a preliminary conjecture. Knacker, or should I say the one who stole the core, likely removed the Archeum Connect core early on, activating the backup energy source. However, Pneumosa cores are relatively inefficient energy sources, and they have to keep continuous output energy to reach the activation threshold of this contraception here. Hence, this person's intentionally activated that large Archeum chunk, creating a modest but rather noticeable explosion. This way, when the Institute sends someone to investigate, they would be certain to fix the Archeum inhibitor first. And by the time they realize they have to go to the experimental field generator to retrieve the backup energy supply, the generator would have already finished charging. From a technical perspective, such a modus operandi is highly probable, and those within the Institute capable of doing this would only be Edwin, Mr. Naka, and myself. I doubt Edwin had the opportunity to do anything to that effect, which leaves the two remaining suspects, myself and Mr. Naka. Maybe this was all your doing then!
Yeah, you said that Naka lied, but you've been lying all along! Maybe this was all part of your plan and you tricked us into escorting you here so that we could grab whatever you wanted!
Your accusation is not entirely based. After this, I will also apply for and submit myself to the Institute's credibility review. As far as I'm concerned, though, Mr. Naka is the one more likely to have committed this act. It really was his doing that he should be the one with the most gain from it. If I'm listed alongside him as a suspect, his chances of being convicted are certainly greater than mine. So no answers as to what exactly he wants to do with that core. A little sussy to me. I think it has to do with the Fatui, but then I always think it has to do with the Fatui, so I guess we'll find out whenever.